Well, hello. Having some minor technical difficulties here, so I hope you can forgive me. I started a couple of minutes late. I didn't mean to, but it looks like things did not want to cooperate this evening. Trying to adjust my earpiece here. And at the same token, trying to get my computer to cooperate with me, and it's just not doing it for some reason. It's very bizarre. I don't know why, but that's okay. These things happen, right? Let me just get a sip of water here. There we go. Oh, my goodness, that's not what I wanted. There we are. That's better. So, a little slightly disheveled, as when things don't work out the way you want them to, they can sort of throw you for a loop, and that's what was happening to me. But I'm going to do my best to try and not let it get to me and just sit here and chill out and have a nice conversation. And hopefully, a few folks will join us and take part in the chat. Let us know how you're feeling this post-Christmas bliss. At least it should be bliss. I think for myself, I feel, all things considered, pretty good. Sometimes I find at this time of the year, you can feel that letdown from the whole sort of holiday spirit, as there's that back to reality vibe that one gets when, well, one goes back to reality. All things considered, I'm doing pretty good. This earpiece does not want to stay in place for me this evening. There we go. That's better. Slightly scrunkled at the moment because I'm flustered when the technology doesn't work the way it's supposed to, and my teleprompter is failing, and for some reason it was not corresponding to what I needed it to, but it's working now, so that's good. But I'm outside of that. I'm feeling pretty good. Now, that being said, I am very tired, as last night for some strange reason, I woke up at 2 a.m. with terrible heartburn and a unbelievable migraine and could not get back to sleep until 5 a.m. when my alarm went off, at which point I fell asleep and laid in bed until 6:30, which is the last possible moment where I could get up to get my day started, because I have a 7 a.m. live stream I have to take part in. I produce a show and contribute, and then, start my work day. So I surprisingly, to my surprise actually, I was thinking, oh God, this is going to be a terrible day, and it turned out to be a really good day, actually. I by the time that the 7 a.m. show started, I was in great spirits, which was unexpected because, well, I had only 4 hours sleep, and yet, mental health-wise, I was in a great place. And I hope to stay that way because, my goodness gracious, who doesn't want to be in a great place when, you're at the time of the year when the dead of winter is approaching? Although here in Canada's capital of Ottawa, we just got our second snowfall. Our first snowfall was, I think, on the 3rd of December, and it all melted about a week later. It was all gone. We had no snow for Christmas. And up until just yesterday, the streets were bare and dry, which is very weird for this part of the world at this time of the year. So we did get some snow. We got about 10 centimeters yesterday, and we're expecting another 10 to 20 over the next day or two, along with some freezing rain. So we're getting into the worst part of winter, the freezing rain part, which is just horrible when everything is coated in a layer of ice, which makes for skiing not fun. And that's the part of winter I love the most, is going skiing. I mean, my goodness, if I could ski every day of my life, I would. I love it that much. But when you can't get the weather to cooperate with you, it's pretty hard. Whoops, I just turned the wrong light on there. When the weather doesn't want to cooperate with you, it's difficult. Let's see if we can get this light to work properly. And there we go. And I don't know what just happened. Looks like my teleprompter just went out. Yeah, it just died for some reason. I don't know why. Very strange. And now it's back. Well, I can't explain technology. Some days it just does what it wants to and ignores what I ask it to do. There you have it. Technology. It's bizarre. So, I didn't, in all honesty, I didn't have much of a break. Christmas, of course, and Boxing Day, which are holidays here in Canada, so the 25th and 26th. Then I went back to work. And then, of course, had the weekend off, New Year's Day, which was on a Monday. But I ended up doing some work that day as well. So it wasn't a big break for me. And hindsight being 2020, I really should have taken the time off, because I only had one or two small little projects to take care of at work, and quite frankly, I could have done those last week. Or last week? Yes, last week. I'm very confused. There were not a lot of people in the office last week either, so the 3 days, the 3 working days between Christmas and New Year's, I should have taken them off. But live and learn, right? Maybe next year. I don't know. You don't know what the future holds. Truth be told, you don't know what tomorrow holds. You may have plans, but how they work out is definitely beyond your control. You do what you can with what you've got at the time, and hopefully things pan out for you. 1 second. Sorry, I had to clear my throat, and I need some more water. That is some high quality H2O. If you know, you know. So this time of the year, post-Christmas, Blue Monday, although I guess technically Blue Monday is next Monday, but that's really just a marketing ploy by a travel agency in the UK. It's not necessarily an actual thing. It's kind of like the 2-month salary rule for diamond rings. Silliness. It's just a marketing ploy to get you to buy things, is really all it is. So they say Blue Monday is the day that you should go to your travel agent and book a new trip, because, after all, you're depressed and sad and lonely. It's post-Christmas. You've got the blues. The days, technically they are getting longer, but you don't really notice it until mid to late February. It's only about a minute or two a day, so you don't really see the difference. So we are in the dead of winter. And that does weigh heavy on the minds of a lot of people, especially those who are not into winter sports like myself, when the days can be, well, quite short because of the lack of sunlight, or lack of daylight, I should say. Although lack of sunlight in our case here in Canada's capital, we had 3 days in December that were not overcast. 3 sunny days in the entire month of December. which really does affect the mood of everyone. So you've got a December that looks more like October. There's no snow on the ground. It wasn't even that cold out. But it gets dark very early because of the time of year that it is. Christmas is fast approaching and there's no snow. Christmas is over and now we get our snow, which ironically, and for many people, they want snow at Christmas, but they'd be fine if it was gone on New Year's Day. Of course, that's not how it works. And in this instance, this year, it's completely topsy-turvy. Oh, thank you, Andrew. It's a very good idea. It's take some extra time off at this time of year if you can, because the stress level can be quite something. And I know none of us need any extra stress in our lives. We already have enough as it is on an ongoing daily basis. Just trying to keep one's head above water, so to speak. I don't mean literally, of course, but makes me think of, so you may be familiar with the polar bear dip on New Year's Day. It's something that I've been tempted to do for years, and I've never done it. And I thought, okay, I'll do it for 2024. That'll be the year. And there were people who ran into the Ottawa River, dove in, but a traditional polar bear dip is when they cut a hole in the ice and they wrap a safety rope around you and you jump in and they pull you out real quick and you stand barefoot on the ice and then they wrap you in blankets and you go have a hot chocolate and you help raise money for charity. But it was so mild that there was no ice. Like literally no ice. The outdoor rink across the street from my apartment building, which had a base sheet of ice built up about a week or 2 weeks, I guess 2 weeks before Christmas. By the time Christmas came around, it was a field of mud that had just rained and been so mild. So the weather's topsy-turvy, the days are short, the coldness has finally arrived, along with the snow. But because it's been so mild, the ski conditions are deplorably bad right now. And we have a snowstorm coming, followed by an ice storm, which will destroy all the new snow that I could be skiing on. So you see this cyclical effect here that really does mess with my head. I try not to let it get me down, but to be honest with you, it can be difficult. Hey, Stephen, Happy New Year. It can be quite difficult to try to keep positive when everything just feels so negative. And let's not even get into the geopolitical aspect of what's going on right now around the world. It's just heartbreakingly sad. So let's check in with one another. Tell me how you're doing in the chat. Let me know if you want to talk about anything, because I am here to sit and listen and chat, of course. I think it's important that we express how we feel at this time of year. It's important all the time, truth be told, but it seems that there's an extra little bit that's required at this time of year to try and get to the heart of the matter, because if we don't deal with the emotions that we're feeling, the darkness that some of us feel, post-Christmas, dead of winter at all, as I've been waxing on about, non-poetically, if we keep that inside, it's only going to fester and rot and destroy you from within. So it's good to talk about it. It's good to get it out. It's good to say, I'm not good right now. It's okay to be not okay. I know you've heard that before, but it's true. It's healthy if you talk about it, though. If you say, hey, I need to talk about it. So Blue Ridge Mountains of Virginia, no snow, just cold rain. Yeah, I'm sure, Andrew, that must throw you for a bit of a loop, too, because that's something I'm sure you're used to, is to see snow-covered peaks at this time of year. And now that there is none, it's a little disturbing. I won't get into the climate change stuff because we don't talk about things like that on this show. But there's obviously a change when, we're not seeing what we would normally see. Not getting into the nitty gritty of it. It's just when your body, soul, is used to seeing things a certain way, i.e., the climate, the weather, and suddenly it's not the way it's always been, it can affect your psychology in ways that you're not even aware of. It's kind of crazy how the world works and how the human body and human mind works. We, only in the last, I think, 25 or 30 years have discovered that your gut health can affect your mental health. When your stomach is feeling off, for want of a better description, it often is tied into where your mental health is at. And if your gut health, if you feel something negative in your gut, it's usually also in your head. And again, it's astonishing when we discover how little we actually know about the human body, even though we've been studying it for quite some time. They learn new things every single day. Not just every year, but every single day we learn new things about how the body reacts to different stimuli. And when in this case, when stimuli that's always been there is suddenly gone at a time of the year when we're used to it, it can affect you in ways that you might not even be aware of. I know that I feel a little off because of the weather. I really do want to go skiing soon, but conditions aren't there and schedule isn't going to allow for it because I'm just so darn busy. But I will make time soon. Very soon. More water. So I hope everybody had a safe and happy holiday. I know that it's not always happy for everyone, but I hope that you were able to take some time for yourself over the last few weeks, whatever you celebrate, because there are a number of holidays that take place, a number of religious holidays that take place at that time, and of course secular ones. New Year's Eve is a completely secular holiday. It's a date on a calendar. And I know that, as I wrote in the description, New Year, New Me, that's not really my thing, but if that's your thing, that's okay. I try and be a new me every day if I can. Some days it's a little bit more difficult than others, and I'm just incapable of it because you might feel empty or alone or sad or tired or maybe even angry. Depression has the way of bringing anger out of you even when you don't expect it. You can find yourself getting upset about the littlest things. And when you have the knowledge that the reason you got upset, that you could not get your coffee filter to open and sit in your coffee maker properly, when you were ready to throw the whole thing out the window, if you don't know that that is a sign of depression and that is a side effect, or, as I like to jokingly say, an ancillary benefit of having depression, when you don't realize that that's the case, it just messes with your head. But when you have the knowledge to realize, oh, wait a second, hang on a second, let me just step back here. We'll just push back from the problem. Because as it turns out, the problem is all in my head, and all I have to do is take a few minutes to take a breather, clear my mind, take 10 deep breaths, which are both cleansing and calming, and try to attack the problem again. Realize that your short temper is not a failing on your part, just part of the brain chemical disorder that depression is. Because it's all it is. It's brain chemicals not doing the things they should be doing. I read a quotation many years ago that I stuck with. Happiness is a decision you have to make. And the first time I read that, I came to the conclusion that, I knew I had depression and I was untreated. I was not taking medication at the time. I'd been diagnosed a number of years before. But when I read that, it was like a light bulb moment for me. Happiness is a decision you have to make. It was a light bulb moment because prior to that, I struggled with the fact that I knew so many people in my life that were happy, or at least appeared to be. And I was always dour and sour and sad, and I was Eeyore from Winnie the Pooh. I'm not joking, that's kind of what it was like. I don't know. Somehow I still managed to have friends, but I don't know how that took place. It was a very dark period in my life. But it was when I read that quotation, happiness is a decision you have to make. It struck me like a bolt of lightning. You need to decide to be happy and then be happy. Certainly, when your brain chemistry is off, it's difficult some days. Depression is a son of a gun, and it can really throw you sideways. But if you decide, I want to be happy, I'm going to be happy, it's kind of realization that for some people it comes naturally, and for others of us, we just have to work at it. And that's okay. For years I thought it just came to people. I didn't know that it required effort on my part. I thought it was just a natural progression, a natural procession, a natural way for people to be. I did not realize, I didn't understand, I didn't know that it took effort. And as a result, since that time, I've put a lot of effort into being happy. And some days you're exhausted and you can't do it. And some days you find you just are incapable of spending time around people because you're just wiped out tired. That's okay. You needn't worry about it. You'll be okay. Take the time you need when you need to take the time. You can relax, take a few deep breaths, take a nap, put your feet up, chillax. As much as you possibly can, of course, because sometimes when you're in the dark period, if you're in the cave, if you're in the basement, if you're in the spacesuit, if you're underwater, however you want to describe what you're feeling, it's difficult. And I get that. I've been there more times than I care to mention. But I don't have as many dark days as I once did. They are very few and very far between. And when they do happen, they really mess me up now because I lived that way for a long time. And for the last, 4 years I haven't. So when I do get hit with a darkness period, it really hits me hard because I'm no longer used to it. And I don't know if that makes sense to a lot of people. But it's definitely been my experience. A number of years ago, here in Ontario, the rules changed in bars and restaurants where they got rid of smoking indoors altogether. You can't smoke in a patio, like you cannot smoke around people dining, period. There's no smoke in bars, restaurants, patios, you name it. And as someone who worked as a nightclub DJ for many years, I was always around cigarette smoke. I've always been allergic to it, but I think I had a certain tolerance. The tolerance was here. I'd go home, my eyes would burn, and I'd cough, and I'd sneeze, and I'd wheeze. But you sort of got used to it. Now, of course, you'd get home after a night working at a nightclub, and all your clothes immediately went into the hamper because they reeked of cigarette smoke. And then they changed the law and you couldn't smoke anywhere. And I mean, I was thankful because I never smoked, and suddenly I was able to, my clothes last a lot longer because I'm not washing them 3 times a week. I don't smell like cigarette smoke anymore, and my eyes don't burn when I go home at the end of the night. But what I did notice is after about a year or 2 of that, the first time I was at somebody's house and they lit up a cigarette, and I had to get up and leave the room because my lungs were burning, my eyes were burning. I broke out in a rash, and they were like, "My God, what's wrong?" I go, "Well, I'm allergic to cigarette smoke." They're like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry." I'm like, "It's your house, man. I'm leaving. It's my problem, not yours." They felt bad, but I said, "You shouldn't. It's your home. I came here knowing that you smoked. I just didn't know how bad I would react to it." What I'm getting at is when I have a dark period, because the depression is a lifelong struggle for me. But when I have a dark period, it's similar to that. It's an extreme reaction now because it's been so long, 4 years. Like, in the grand scheme of things and in the grand scheme of my life, that's nothing. I've been dealing with this for 44 years now. But 40 years and then 4 years of not that anymore. 4 years of waking up every day happy, waking up feeling good about myself. I'm always tired when I wake up. I don't sleep well, and I wake up dehydrated every day because I sweat like a demon because I have a very high metabolic rate. But I wake up and look forward to going to work every day. I'm happy to have another day. I'm happy to take time to spend time with people that I love and care for. And I find joy and gratitude in the simplest little things. Nice hot cup of coffee, a nice conversation with a colleague. Achieving a small little job, no matter how small it is, a sense of completion and gratitude that you get from it. Yeah, that's pretty wonderful. And like I said, because it's been 4 years now that I've been feeling this way, when the darkness comes, boy, does it hit hard. It hits hard. And I'm not there today. I'm not. When I do go there, I do tell people. And I, put on the mask and try and hide it so that it's my burden and no one else's. But I will let people know, no, I'm just going through a tough time right now. They're like, anything we can do? I go, just hang out with me. I don't want to talk about it because the worst thing I can do is talk about how I'm feeling when I'm feeling that way. I want to think about anything but that. And then I'll tell you about it afterwards when I'm in a better place. And I have more good days than bad days. So I'm thankful for my doctor. I'm thankful for the medication that I'm on. I'm thankful for all of the good days I've had since February 28th, 2020, when my world changed just before the whole world came to a screeching halt. And with that, my friends, I think I will take my leave. So I am a little tired. Been up since 2 a.m. after all, for the most part. And I would like to get some sleep, if that's okay with you. I will, I'm going to post some additional content later in the week. It won't, I don't think I'll be able to do anything live, but I'm going to take a few minutes here and there to post some additional content if you want to check it out. And if this is helpful to you at all, if you think there's anybody that could benefit from these little ASMR mental health chats, please share it with them. Let them know. Everybody is welcome here. I mean that. Your political bent, your belief system, your structure, your religion, your culture, all of that gets checked at the door. Because when we come in here, is to try and help one another with the struggles that we're having. And let's face it, there's no one on earth that is not touched by mental health. Sometimes mean and nasty people are suffering. They just don't know it. And if we can get them some help, if we can help them to realize, maybe, just maybe, a little bit of love, kindness, caring, compassion can help them too. And with that, my friends, I will see you soon. You take care. Bye.